Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all my baggage droppers around the world, welcome to another episode of the Drop Your Baggage podcast with me, your host, Charles Woolfork. And we have a terrific guest here, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Stephen Pleasant. But you know what? The Drop Your Baggage podcast is here for to talk with incredible people that have done incredible things, and also to emphasize an incredible technique called mental and emotional release that we will be doing at the end. And for everyone out there that is on YouTube and Facebook, please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're on any podcast platform, go ahead and buckle in because you're about to go on a wild ride with Mr. Stephen Pleasant. Now, Stephen grew up in Kansas and he left Kansas after finishing college. He served a stint in the Army Reserve and joined the Peace Corps and served in Africa and Liberia. Now, he traveled all over Western and Eastern Africa, and then he worked for an agency as a paid staff member that took him to Russia for a year. And once he worked in Kurdistan, after that, he went and got his master's in social work and is a licensed psychotherapist. He practiced yoga and became a yoga teacher, opened a hot yoga studio for Bikram Yoga. Now he just moved to Raleigh, North Carolina, creating a business and mind work, working with the legendary Bob Proctor. And now his program turns thinking into results. Men, and he wants to work with men who want to create change in their lives. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the peak performance coach, Stephen Pleasant. What's up, Stephen?
All right. I love that introduction.
I'm telling you, man, if you need me to travel on the road with you, so I introduce you everywhere you go, I got you.
All right. But I'll have to say, though, that it was Kyrgyzstan and not Kurdistan, which is in a part of Iraq.
Oh, my gosh.
You know, that's my geography. My degree is in geography.
Golly, so you have a degree in geography that you got over in Kansas, and then you got your master's in social work and in psychotherapy?
Well, as a licensed clinical social worker, I am a licensed psychotherapist. Most of the mental health is provided by licensed clinical social workers. So, yeah.
So how long were you in social work, or did you ever work in that field as a social worker or licensed psychotherapist?
Yeah, many years. And I still do that part-time, but I'm pivoting from doing psychotherapy to doing mindset work and coaching. You know, the difference between just psychotherapy and like coaching is psychotherapy looks back and you're looking at some problem that you want to resolve. So coaching is looking forward. It's not to resolve any mental health issues or anything like that. It's, you know, when someone has a goal and they want to reach their goal. So it's looking forward into the future, where psychotherapy is looking back. You're looking, you know, like back to childhood, family dynamics, mental health, medications, and all that stuff. Very different.
Yeah, for sure. And as a self-taught engineer, I definitely help people with the same thing as far as their goals and ambitions, and making sure that, you know, they continue on with their life in the way that they desire. When you run upon someone with being a mindset coach, how do you help them handle their own baggage and their own issues when they come upon problems like a fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of abandonment, or the limiting belief that I'm not good enough?
Well, I think that's kind of like not necessarily particular to any individual, but when we experience it, we kind of think it's like, oh, this is really personalized to me. But what you describe, I believe, is kind of like the human condition.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all have fear. We want food, clothing, and shelter. We want to be taken care of. And we have fear. We have doubts and judgments, and it's just a part of the human condition, and it's part of our upbringing, what we've been told, you know, and all that stuff. So it's not personal. So that's one thing. Don't personalize it. The second thing, I think, is that a lot of that comes from, you know, deep-seated beliefs about what's possible for us. And I think that's kind of like the gap between where people are and where they want to be, there's a gap. And fundamentally, I think it's because we don't believe that we can, and or our beliefs are influenced by so many things. Like they're influenced by, it could be religion, like growing up in the church, you hear certain messages,
Mm-hmm.
do this, don't do that. Or, based on gender, if you're a woman, do this, you can do that, it's proper to do this, etc. Guys too. Or education, or lack of education, the people we hang out with, TV, social messages, images that we see, expectations from our parents, generational, race. So all these, we get information and we take it in
Mm-hmm.
and we start believing that that's how it is for us. And so, we're not living from our own beliefs. We're living from other people's beliefs, society, etc., family. So, I think your question was, I lost track of your question. How do I deal with that?
Yeah. How do you help your clients like with their mindset work when they run upon all those things that you just talked about?
Well, what's there is, the work that I do is to help people get clarity, right? To get awareness. And there's a particular way that I go about doing that. And I just ask some simple questions. The first thing is, do you believe you can have what you want? That's just, a simple fundamental question. Or what is it that you actually want for yourself in your life? It's amazing that people really are not clear about what they want. Oh, I don't know. I just want a simple life. I just want a job. I want to make my living. It's like, yeah, but as a human being, you're capable of so much more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the fear comes in, because they think that, well, maybe I can't get it. I don't believe that I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough. I've not completed college. I've not completed high school, or women don't do those types of jobs, or men don't do those types of jobs. So we have all these, limiting beliefs
Mm-hmm.
about what we can and what we can't do. And so I work with people to start with, like, what do you want for yourself in your life? Absent of your belief if you can get it or not, because that's a different thing.
Right.
You believe you can get it? Well, that's not the question. The question is, what do you want?
Yeah.
What scares you? What, dreams did you put on hold? Like a dream deferred. I think that was Langston Hughes's poem, right?
Wow. Yeah.
What happens to a dream deferred? It, dries up like a raisin in the sun, or something like that. I forgot
Mm-hmm.
the words.
No, but I mean that makes total sense. So you help them develop a belief that they can have what they want, and then you help them gain clarity in what they want in their life. And then after that, you develop so once they have the clarity and they have the belief, then they can go out there and you set goals and they can start achieving goals.
Yeah. So what you're describing is the action piece.
Yeah.
Many people, they start taking action before they've gotten clarity on the inside. So they've missed a prerequisite, so to say, to getting what you want in your life. You don't
Mm-hmm.
just go out there and start going for it, because if what you're going for, if you don't have your belief system nailed down, if you don't have your belief system, really crystal clear, then you can't outperform your deep-seated belief. Now, you may say it on a cognitive level, yes, I believe that, but that's not the belief that really makes a difference.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you believe deep down inside,
Yeah. Yeah.
what's deep in your bones that you don't tell people about.
Mm-hmm.
And and the thing is, people may not even be clear on what their beliefs are. And I just want to back up for a second, like say what a belief is. A belief is just a thought. You've been thinking this thought over and over and over again, and it becomes automatic. And that's just what a belief is, something that you've been thinking over and over and over again. It becomes automatic, and that's a belief. And oftentimes, as I said, it's not even your belief, it's someone else's belief that you're believing, because it takes
Yep.
some work to get clear on what you do believe.
Mm-hmm.
We grow up and we just accept beliefs for whatever reasons. And without really scrutinizing and asking, do I really believe that?
Yeah.
And then you can outgrow beliefs. What you believed as a 20-year-old, you may not believe as a 30-year-old, or you may need better beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you can change your belief. It's not cut in stone, but many people don't change their beliefs because they don't examine their beliefs. So, I work with people on getting clarity before they start taking action, and work on their belief system so that when they do take action, their behavior is consistent with their beliefs. Otherwise, you can't outperform what's your deep-seated belief.
Mm-hmm.
It may work for a little bit, but you will do something to nail your foot to the floor, to self-sabotage,
Yep.
because your life will ultimately come back into alignment with those deep-seated beliefs, which is a part of the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work with people on getting clear so they can start taking powerful action consistent with what they believe. There are beliefs, that have been examined. It's like, yes, I believe this and I'm living consistent with this.
Yeah.
And so, and then, then there are other, things that I do to support that.
Outstanding. How does your training or you working with Bob Proctor go hand in hand, or give you the tools for your business?
Well, first, let's say who Bob Proctor is, because many
Yeah.
people may not know. I
Touche.
always refer to Bob. Many people have heard the movie The Secret, right? I think maybe that was 20 years ago or something.
Wow, that long ago already.
It's been some time ago,
Mm-hmm.
and he is the white-haired older guy in that movie.
With the glasses.
Yes, and people are like, oh yeah, I remember that. So I started working with Bob Proctor 2 years ago, two and a half years ago. But my main work comes out of my social work training and as a psychotherapist. And Bob Proctor has created a program called Thinking to Results that I facilitate. And, there's no use in recreating the wheel. And he really is one of the foremost people in personal growth, human potential, and development.
Mm-hmm.
He's trained with some of the top people in the world. And so I don't, I am a student of his work. And by extension, like Napoleon Hill, because Bob studied, Napoleon Hill's work, and Earl Conant, and, Earl Nightingale, and some of the others.
Amen.
Yeah, I lead one of his coaching programs. It's a 6-month program.
That's outstanding. That's outstanding. So like everything is going hand in hand. What you're doing with the subconscious mind, with your with your license in psychotherapy, and also with Bob Proctor's program, both of them are working with the subconscious mind and getting it really deep into things as far as their beliefs, but then also focusing on the results that they can get. I mean, due to the power of the mind, as well as the energetic flow that happens with the law of attraction as well.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. Everything, the universe is orderly. There is a orderliness to the universe.
Mm-hmm.
It may look like chaos, but there is order. And you mentioned did you say the law of attraction or the law of vibration?
The law of attraction, which is pretty much the same thing, correct?
Yeah. Well, the law of the foundational law is the law of vibration, that everything in the universe vibrates, nothing stands still.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so that's the foundation law of all the other laws,
Mm-hmm.
universal laws. And then there's the law of attraction. So, we vibrate with energy, and we attract into our lives what's consistent with that vibrational energy. Like, you've probably had an experience where you walk into, or you come up to a customer service counter and the customer service rep behind, you can just feel their energy, that it's, negative energy,
Mm-hmm.
and the way that they look at you, the way that they deal with you, the way that they answer your questions, you can feel that energy,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like palpable.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can feel energy that, with people who are just great to be around. They have a great spirit
Mm-hmm.
and just lovely people. They vibrate very differently. And you can feel that welcoming energy. You like to be around those type of people. So that's vibrational energy. And we attract, you know, what we are resonating with, what we are, the energy that, is congruent with how we are. And it's just, like it's like a pole, right? You have negative and positive, or you have up and down, good and bad. And so, we're either vibrating somewhere along this continuum.
Mm-hmm.
And we zip up and down, up and down. You can say heaven and hell, by our attitude. We can go from heaven to hell, in a day, right here on earth. And so it's important to be mindful of, what we are, how we're vibrating.
Mm-hmm.
You can, if you feel negative, if you feel anger, if you feel bitterness, all those heavy um, vibrations, then you're going to attract into your life people, situations, things that are just consistent with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's important to be mindful of, how we are vibrating, what we're thinking. That's what causes these vibrations.
Yeah.
Thinking, and by extension, our thinking causes our emotions. We're so focused on like emotions that we forget, or we don't know. Many people don't know that actually our emotions, our thoughts precede emotions, but we're not quick enough to catch the thought that we were thinking that caused the emotion. We just get hooked into the emotion. And if you're not in the practice of really just like stopping that emotion and not allowing yourself to get, sucked down the rabbit hole, because, once you get hooks, sometimes there's nothing to do but just to let it burn out. And by that time, you can do damage, destruction, you can cause harm to yourself, harm to others. And so, but before all those emotions are thoughts that we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And, a thought, a belief is just a thought that we've been thinking over and over and over. That's why it's important to examine our beliefs, to be responsible for what we're thinking. And not only what we're thinking, like how we're thinking. Because, we get the results in our life are consistent with what's going on the inside. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want a different result on the outside, you really have to start working on what's on the inside, starting with your beliefs, starting with your thinking, like really just, we can say reprogramming your mind.
Mm-hmm. That
Like,
that's That's the most important, man. Like you said, we a lot of people, a majority of the people, it seems like, aren't emotionally intelligent enough to not get hooked into our emotions, and therefore we're spiraling all the time in this. Some people call it a vortex. This
yeah,
vortex of this vortex of getting caught in bad, not bad, but negative emotions, and therefore attracting more of that as they go on. They don't know, like cognitively know or feel it right away. It's just, I mean, it may be their base. Their base may be that emotion of anger or that emotion of fear, and therefore they're constantly going with that. And then once they are cognizant of it, it's like, damn, I've been doing this whole time. How the hell do I reprogram myself now after all these years? After being raised in a family, in a culture, in an educational system, in a media funnel of all these negative emotions, all this fear, all this anger. How do I reprogram myself and become a better thinker and therefore a better manifester?
Those are great questions. And what I always start with is I just really, I tell people, it's like, look, however you are right now,
Mm-hmm.
however you ended up being today, you are never stuck with how you are or how you ended up being today. You do have a choice. And so people just have to really get for themselves that you have a choice. Now, you may not know how to get unstuck.
Mm-hmm.
You may not know how to reprogram your mind,
Mm-hmm.
but all it takes is a willingness. Are you willing?
Yeah.
And if you are willing, then you can absolutely change your mind, change your thinking, and by extension, change the results that you have, reprogram your mind. But of course, you would like need a coach to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't take forever. It's kind of like, giving somebody a fish or teaching them to fish. Once you teach people some basics, some tools, I give them like their tools in their toolbox.
Mm-hmm.
They can use those tools to improve their life and improve the results that they get. But you're never stuck with how you are. And some people don't want to get unstuck.
Mm.
And so you've got to leave them alone. Because, if they're operating down here and you and if they're operating down here,
Mm-hmm.
want something up here,
Mm-hmm.
you cannot stay down here and operate on their level.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something to make them bad or wrong. It's just that they are where they are.
Right.
And they either don't want to move from there because they don't see how they can, or, there's kind of like knowledge and ignorance. And you've heard the saying, ignorance is bliss.
Mm-hmm.
No, the hell it's not.
Hell nah. Ignorance is poverty. Ignorance is misery. You know what I mean?
And it can hurt you. It can cause you great harm.
Yeah.
And knowledge is over here. And it's not proprietary knowledge. But some people hold it as proprietary. But if you're willing, you can come from, extricate yourself from the stream, the downward stream of, toward poverty and negativity and all of that,
Mm-hmm.
and to the upward stream to having the life that you want, the life that you deserve, the life that we as human beings all deserve, health, wealth, and happiness.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be willing to do that. And many people are not willing to do that because, you can get just so consumed by the circumstances of your life,
Mm-hmm.
like what's going on in the environment of your life. And, this is one thing that I've seen just all the time as a social worker, and people who have been born into environments of poverty, environments of ignorance, environments of lack, environments of violence, and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
No choice of their own. And that, lack of nutrition, not getting their proper nutrition when they're infants so that their brain develops normally and how it should, and like that. And so your view, your belief, because you get all these messages from the outside,
Mm-hmm.
and you believe that this is it. And the belief is so hardened, whether it's true or not makes no difference. Anything that you believe, whether it's true or not, will harden into fact.
Mm-hmm.
Through repetition of that belief.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's what I've seen a lot of. These beliefs about what's possible is just limited by the circumstances in their environment. So they can't see past that. And one thing you said something a little bit that I just wanted to kind of touch on.
Mm-hmm.
All these external conditions of the environment that we find ourselves in that we may not want.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know um, what, human beings are a particular type of animal, right? We are
Yeah.
animals. We're a particular type of animals.
Yeah.
We're at the top of the animal kingdom. But do you know what separates humans from other types of animals?
Yeah. Our neocortex, our minds, and the way that we create, the way that we interact with the universe.
Something even more fundamental than that.
Uh,
Okay, I'm gonna let you off the hook.
Yeah, yeah. With the way we love as well.
Nah.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Please teach me, man. Teach me.
All right. So, the five physical senses, right?
Hmm.
Sight, smell, taste, touch, and sound.
Hmm.
Animals have those same physical factors, right? Sight,
Hmm.
smell, taste, touch, sound. Now, I just thought, well, moles don't have sight. But you get my point, right?
I do.
Because somebody out there would say, well, moles don't
But
see.
both do it.
Well, they don't.
Hmm.
But a bear has sight, smell, taste, touch, sound.
Hmm.
And a giraffe, the same, a dog, the same.
Hmm.
They have sight, smell, taste, touch, sound. But what distinguishes human beings from the other animal kingdom is that human beings, we have what's called the higher faculties, you know, um, perception, memory,
Yeah.
intuition, imagination, reason. Which one am I missing?
I mean,
Perception, memory, imagination,
mem-
will, reason, and intuition.
yeah. Yep. You said all those.
So those are the higher faculties. Like animals are born into an environment and that's it. They just react to what's in their environment. But human beings, we are born and we create the environment. Like we can have a thought in our head
Hmm.
and we can manifest that in reality.
Hmm.
Like birds can fly, man cannot fly, but man created flying machines that, we've sent these machines, these crafts to Mars and Venus and and actually one went out of um, our solar system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, birds are not a match for man in flight, but we cannot fly, but we created machines. We can, whatever we can imagine, whatever we can conceive of in our imagination,
Hmm.
we can manifest in this physical environment. So we can create whatever type of environment that we want. Animals don't. They are just born into the environment. If they're on the Serengeti, the lion, they'll hunt and they'll kill and they'll eat and they'll reproduce. That's what they do.
Hmm.
But they're not creating anything. Humans create things. So we use our higher faculties. But when we don't, those higher faculties get rusty and we get hooked into our emotions.
Hmm.
And the emotions are just there to, the sight, smell, not just the emotions, sight, smell, taste, touch, sound. Our physical factors are only there to give us information from the physical environment, from the outside environment. We hear things, we see things, we touch things, we smell things, and we take that information in, and then we are supposed to use our higher faculties to make choices and decisions about that information. Like a lot of that information is garbage. And with our higher faculties, we can say, okay, I'm going to let that in, and the rest of it is garbage. I'm not going to let that in.
Yeah.
What happens is that we let the whole kit and caboodle in. Everything comes in. There's no filter. There's no thinking about what we're believing, what we are seeing, what we are, all that's coming in. It just comes in and we react to it. We get emotionally hooked in it, and then we do stupid stuff. And then we cause harm to ourselves and others and our children and generationally. So we have to really kind of like slow the roll and be just aware. that everything that I see, I don't have to believe, especially if it's not useful to me. Is what I'm seeing or what I'm hearing, how is it making me feel? Does it make me feel good or not? And so, we have to be discerning of what we allow in so that, that's the first step of reprogramming your mind and your beliefs, is being responsible for what we let in. One has to be really clear about what one wants in their life.
Yeah.
Then that is the anchor to what you are going to allow in and give your attention to.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you don't have, as I call it, a worthy goal, buying a car is not a worthy goal, by the way. I mean, anybody can buy a car. You don't even need money to buy a car.
So what's a word to go to you? It's like something beyond yourself. I mean, of course, materialistic things aren't,
Well,
materialistic
oh,
things is just
those are good goals too. No, those are good goals. Material goals, yeah, those are good goals. So what you were just, the road you were going to go on was like a value judgment. And so there's no value judgment about it. So if it's a material goal that you want, like I want to make $1 million, I think that's an absolutely fabulous goal.
for sure.
And why I think that's a good goal, it's not that you want $1 million, it's just that $1 million would give you some security. It would
Exactly.
give you the space to exhale and breathe.
Yeah.
It would give you access to much better healthcare. It would give you access to good schools for your children and nutrition. It would give you access to a vacations, flying first class, wearing some nice clothes. So it's that. And that's going to impact your self-esteem, your self-image, and then you're going to be just better human being in the world.
Yeah, I agree. And also the the material thing is, it's not about the actual material thing, but it's about what you want to feel because of the material thing. So if it's a house, or if it's money and the this, that, and the other, the private school for the children, it's all so you can feel safe and secure, knowing that everything is being taken care of. That sense of relief that you were talking about, taking that deep breath and saying, yeah, everything's okay. You know what I mean? So whether it be like I said, a big house, or even or like even like a champ, like if somebody might wear like jewelry or something of that nature, they might want to feel significant. Or that's those things, or they might want to feel a connection with somebody else that has those things that may be around them as well. I mean, I know someone that bought a Rolex because his friends had Rolexes. It's like he wanted to feel that kind of love and connection.
Yeah. So in order, these types of physical goals, those are kind of just to get you started. It's easier to have a physical goal to work toward obtaining. So it's there's a usefulness in that. But once people reach these physical goals, they're gonna, it's what's I say that the intention of a human being is to grow and develop and our fullest capacity, right?
I'll go with that, yeah, for sure.
And so part of that is getting all of those needs met, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, clothing, and shelter, whatever that looks like for you. And then, education, and then, enjoyment of life, and then, like that. And so, yeah, some people, maybe they don't want $1 million. Maybe it's like $250,000 a year would be fine for them, but it's not the amount, it's the going after. And so a worthy goal is something that you don't know how to do, something that you've never done before, something that's so big you dare not dream of it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I always use, like, Martin Luther King had a worthy goal. He, like peace in the world, racial equality. And, and so I have a dream. Now, he knew that he was not going to achieve that goal in his lifetime. But if he set a small goal, he would not have changed the world as he did.
Hmm.
You have to have a big enough goal, and you don't need to know how to accomplish it because that goal is going to cause you into being. It's going to cause you to take on yourself as you've never taken on yourself. It's going to cause you to grow and develop yourself into that big goal. Now, the big goal, I mean, whatever it is for you, if it is $1 million, $2 million,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have to grow beyond who you know yourself to be right now today.
Yeah.
So the intention of the goal is not necessarily to accomplish the goal, but to get you moving in the direction of it, to get you to grow and to develop yourself to your fullest, capacity that God has, we're created in the image of God. And yeah, I'll say that.
Mm-hmm.
God,
Mm-hmm.
architect of the universe, however you want to call it. But we have this capacity, and I think that many people, we know deep down inside that we are not stepping up to what we are capable of.
Yeah.
And and that relates to self-image. We don't have the self-image because of all these things out there that we're seeing, thinking, believing, hearing, feeling, people in our lives, all this stuff. It can cause a negative self-image,
Mm-hmm.
negative self-esteem, and we get our foot nailed to the floor, and we do, I don't know, self-sabotage. And so all of that, this big goal is to cause us to improve our self-image,
Yeah.
to expand how we see ourselves. But you have to have a goal. You have to set a goal so that you can focus your awareness and focus your mental acuity, your mental development. Otherwise, you're just out there, blowing in the wind. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what the hell am I doing? It's like, I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing?
Oh my gosh.
What you're doing getting you the results that you want? No, well, stop doing it. Why are you doing that? You know why people do the same thing over and over, and they know that they're going to get a result that they don't want? It's because of it's a reflection of our self-image. So we
Yeah.
have to work on our self-image and our belief. That's all this inside work. And kind of simultaneously we get a goal, and so we do both. We work on the outside and the inside, but you can't just work on the outside without working on the inside as
Yeah.
well. It's
Yeah.
a prerequisite, like pre-calculus. You got to take pre-calculus before you can take differential equations or something like that.
You're getting out of my realm now. I don't know. I was.
I don't know about that, but it
Hey,
sounds.
shout out to Justin Owens, who said that it's not just about the hard work, but it's about the heart work. Once you work on yourself, you are able to mature to the person that you want to be in order to achieve those big goals, just like you were talking about. So, I mean, man, you've given us so many gems as far as
Yeah, hard
world.
work. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
And who we know ourselves to be right now,
Mm-hmm.
once we start growing and developing, like in 6 months to a year, you're going to be unrecognizable to yourself.
Yeah.
And so your self-image is going to just grow even more because you're going to be standing on the shoulders of that person that you knew yourself to be. And you can see so much further. You can see how much more you can create.
Yeah.
But you couldn't see that before. But it was always possible. It's kind of like you have a blind spot. We have horse blinders on, like a horse.
Yep. Yep.
A horse can't see what's over here on outside the blinders for it's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And so there may be resources and people and situations and things that are right there
Mm-hmm.
that you can't see because of your limited belief,
Mm-hmm.
your limited self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't know what you don't know, and ignorance can cause you great harm.
a
And
hundred percent.
you just don't stumble upon, success is a fine line, right? The likelihood of just stumbling upon it will take years and years and years, trials and tribulations, agony and all this stuff. It's like, well, get a coach so that you learn how to find that line of success.
Yeah.
I mean, all the greats have coaches.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, 100%. Tony Robbins had Jim Rohn. So did Darren Hardy. I know that uh, P. Diddy just paid a coach. Russell Simmons just paid a coach. I mean, there's
Hmm.
plenty of
Yeah.
folks that pay coaches out there just to make sure that they can get there to that next level. I mean, to mentor them to that next level.
Yes. And I was thinking of, like, I like your thinking right there. But you know who I was thinking? I was thinking like Simone Biles and Michael Jordan and Serena Williams and LeBron James. And, but I forgot the coaches. Yeah, coaches have coaches.
Yeah, 100%.
I
Oh
have a
my
coach.
gosh.
Yeah.
I have a coach. I've invested quite a bit in coaching just to make sure that I can get to the next level, so I can get that consciousness down. So, I mean, if I were to so you covered over so much as far as what happens in the world. Don't Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm taking notes like no other. What happens in the world? Don't personalize it. Deep-seated beliefs cause a gap between where you are and where you want to be. Develop a belief that that they can have what they want. So people have to develop a belief that they can have what they want. And you also help people gain clarity in what they want in their life. A belief is a thought you think over and over again until it becomes automatic. We aren't
Yeah.
emotionally intelligent enough to not get hooked into our emotions. But using tools to improve your beliefs will improve your results as well. Your experiences shape your beliefs. You have to have a big enough goal. And what you said about goals were so key. You have to have a big enough goal, and your goal causes you to being that person. It causes you to grow in order to get that goal. And big
Mhm.
goals improve our self-image, and mentors and coaches expedite the trip to the next level.
Well said.
You said
Oh,
it.
good to me.
Oh my gosh. Yes, 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 yes. Well, I mean, not only are you wise, I mean, wiser than most of the people that I know, which definitely
That's a
makes
tall
you
order.
which definitely makes you an amazing peak performance coach. Uh, and also, you're willing to work on yourself. And today on the Drop Your Baggage podcast, you said that you wanted to release fear. So why did you pick fear out of the three?
Fear, because it's kind of like walking the walk, right? Talking the
Mhm.
talk, walking the walk. I've set some big goals for myself. And because, I'm like everybody else, there's the sharp edge of fear that if I'm not managing myself, what I see in my physical environment, like it's not present yet, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
But I have this huge goal and I can, I get scared. It's like, how in the hell am I going to make that happen?
Yeah.
Or if I'm not really being mindful, doubt will, come in because it's all around our environment is a big fat, it's a pull for no,
Mhm.
no possibility. No, that's not going to work. Don't do that. Be careful, be safe.
Yeah.
And so, like everyone else, I have to um, be mindful of not allowing that to impact what I'm up to. And so it just scares the bejesus out of me sometimes. But I know that it's a it's an emotion to keep me in my lane, to keep
Yeah.
me where I am. And I know I just apply what I'm preaching pretty much to myself. And I have coaches that I talk to.
Yeah.
Fear, yeah, fear. And I mean, I don't anger. I'm not really angry about anything. I don't get too sad about anything. Although I did watch a really sad movie today. it was pretty good too. It's like it actually made me sad.
Uh,
But anyway,
but
so of those
so
three,
is it a fear of failure or a fear of success?
fear is fear.
Mm,
Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of nailing my foot to the floor, fear of any time I am going to, want to create a quantum leap for myself and my life. And I mentioned you don't need to know how it's going to happen. You just need to know it's going to happen.
yeah,
And the how will show up
yeah.
when you've done the work to clear your mind and to be, so that the how has some space to present itself. So it's faith.
So
It's stepping forward in faith
mhm,
and knowing, an awareness. And so the fear comes in, it's just the human condition. When I said it's not personal,
mhm.
this fear is not personal to me. It's just, you know, there's always there's fear and faith. And the law of polarity states that everything has its opposite and it's both simultaneously present. Fears and faith are present. I
Mhm.
just have to remember, like, what side of this pole am I focusing on? And sometimes it's like, okay, Stephen, you're focusing on the wrong end. You're focusing on fear. You should be focusing on faith. And
Yeah.
just like problem solution, what are you focusing on? There's both. If you have a problem, there's a solution simultaneously available. Are
Mhm.
you focusing on the problem, or are you focusing on what is a solution? So I don't know if that made any sense or
Of
not.
course, of course. So, therefore, do you believe that it may be also a fear of the unknown?
It's fear of it's fear of my old self. Like, it's when it's stuff that I just, old baggage, that's back
Yeah.
there, my old programming.
Yeah. Is it a belief that I'm not good enough, that I don't have the resources, I'm not smart enough?
No,
Fear of
it's
those
that
things?
I know I'm good enough and I know I'm smart enough. It's a fear of me not doing it. It's a fear of me not doing what I know to do. It's a fear of me, being small, playing small. And it's a fear of finding myself in the same place this time next year.
Mhm. Mm. So yeah, that
It's a
sounds like
fear of, what if I don't make it? It's
that's
it's it's the crazy thinking. It's
Stephen.
the backwards thinking that I have to keep myself just like everybody else.
Mhm. Mhm.
I practice this stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
You
It's
know.
it sounds like a fear of failure, for sure. It sounds like a fear
Okay.
of failure. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go with fear of failure.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Like I believe me. I'm intuitive about these things. I've worked with over 250 folks, and like I have these different cues for what people
Yeah.
say. So that's why I already
Okay.
had
I'm
it
going
down
to take
to.
the coaching. I'm going to take the coaching.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So fear of failure. So what we're going to do is we're
Okay.
going to visit the first time that you felt fear, and then we're going to visit every time that you had a fear of failure after that.
Oh, first time I ever felt fear,
Okay.
like way back.
Yeah, exactly. So watch. All right. So what we're going to do here is a guided meditation called mental and emotional release.
Okay.
And with mental and emotional release, all you have to do is three things. Number one, you have to use your imagination. Number two, you have to follow directions. Now, this is very important because I revised this whole system so you can have a profound experience. All right. And if you do your own thing, you're going to screw it up. Okay. So
Okay.
everything that I say is very important. So just make sure that you follow directions. Cool.
All right. So don't be stubborn. All right.
Yes, man, you're the first to ever pick up on it like that. Okay, and number three is to trust the process. Know that I'm your guide and I'm going to be leading you through this easily and effortlessly.
Okay.
Awesome. Now, we're going to create your timeline. Now, if your past could be to your left, to your right, or behind you, if you were to know, where's your past?
Behind me,
Where's your future?
in front of me.
Perfect. Now, is it all right with your unconscious mind for you to release this fear today and for you to be aware of it consciously?
Yes.
Awesome. What is the root cause of this problem? The first event, which when disconnected will cause this problem to disappear. If you were to know, when was the first time that you felt fear between the ages of birth and 7? How old were you?
Maybe,
Mm.
I think, fear like a small child. I went to parochial school
Mm-hmm.
and the nuns were really mean. I
Mm.
thought they were. My perception was that they were really mean because they would spank us in the
Mm-hmm.
palm of our hand with a ruler,
Mm-hmm.
and it really hurt.
Yeah.
And I think I was always afraid of getting whacked with the ruler. And I remember the names Sister Francis and Sister Francisco.
Mm.
And, so they were, in my little small mind, they were scary nuns who were going to spank me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was afraid, I think, of getting in trouble, doing something that I would
Gotcha.
get whacked with the ruler.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How old were you?
6, I guess.
6? About six
Yeah,
years old.
yeah.
Perfect. So we'll go ahead and get into the guided meditation. So all you got to do is close your eyes and relax and let me know when you're ready for the process.
I'm ready.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline right here, right now, as if though you were a spirit or energy, and just see yourself from a third person point of view. See your striped shirt, the plant to your left, the painting behind you, the bookshelf to your right, the desk in front of you, the chair that you're sitting in, the glasses on your face. Let me know when you can see yourself from a third person point of view.
Hmm.
Awesome. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past, above that first event in which you felt fear when you were just a little kid. I want you to hover above that little kid, seeing him from a third person point of view. Let me know when you can see him.
Hmm.
Awesome. Now stay right there, seeing him from a third person point of view, being the observer of the whole event the whole time. Now just ask your unconscious mind what it needs to learn from the event. The learning of which will allow you to let go of the emotions easily and effortlessly. Your unconscious mind can preserve the learnings so that if you need them in the future, they'll be there. Just tell your unconscious mind to preserve the learnings.
Hmm.
Awesome. Now, the most important thing about this whole exercise is the learnings, the wisdom that you got from that event, and all the different events as well. They're very important. So, with your eyes closed and you hovering above that little boy, tell me, what did you learn?
That little boy is loved, that everything is going to be all right for that little boy.
That's right. Now,
I would say that nothing is really as scary as it looks.
mm, remember that. That is a very fine point for what you're going through right now. Now, just imagine floating up above your timeline and float deeper and deeper and deeper into the past above the dinosaurs during the prehistoric age. Let me know when you're above the dinosaurs.
I'm there.
And as you float above the dinosaurs, just imagine floating deeper and deeper and deeper into space to where space and the atmosphere connects. And imagine your timeline is the size of a fingernail. Let me know when you're there.
Hmm.
Float very, very high above your timeline, above each and every event in which you felt that fear of failure from birth until now in chronological order. Don't skip one event. Preserve the learnings and don't come back to now until that fear of failure is all gone. And when it's all gone, just let me know.
Hmm.
Awesome. Float down into your body and open your eyes when you're ready.
That was a long timeline. There's a lot of incidents of, fear of failure along the way.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. No wonder, but no wonder you had that kind of blocking in you because it's all these little things that can help emphasize and reinforce that
Mhm.
belief or
Yeah.
that programming, if you will.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah. Do you have a pen and paper around you?
I do.
You can go ahead and write down the learnings that you got real quick from the meditation, from all the different events that you had observed.
Okay, it was those same three that I mentioned earlier.
Very good, very good. All right. So, do you smell bacon?
No.
Okay, that's something I asked to help you break state. I do it on every episode. um, can you remember a time in the past in which you used to feel that old emotion? And go back and notice if you can feel it, or you may find that you cannot.
Not that I can readily pull up.
Not bad. I want you to go out into the future, to an
Hmm.
unspecified time in the future, in which if the same thing would have happened in the past, you would have felt a fear of failure. And see if you can find that old emotion. But it's the future now, so you also may find that you cannot.
Hmm. No, it's not coming up.
Congratulations, you just released a bunch of fear. That's awesome. So tell me, how was the experience for you?
Um, this is NLP, right?
Yes, indeed. It's a NLP technique called mental and emotional release.
I like it, and I can see myself, using that as one of my tools in my tool belt.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
Going back and releasing that and finding if it comes up. So yeah, and I know that language and image or imagery creates our worlds.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like using language and imagery.
I mean, and this is language and imagery to the max right here. I mean, I got
Yeah.
me talking these, like speaking these different mantras for you to have more compassion and empathy, but also it's the imagery of you going above your timeline, of being the observer of the events and seeing, hey, I'm okay, right? These things aren't as scary as they look or as they seem. Uh,
Yeah,
you know?
that was one of the things I wrote down.
Yeah. Also, how do you feel about your big goals now?
How do I feel about my big goals now? Oh, I'll accomplish them.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'll accomplish them. And I know that fear will pop back up
Hmm.
because if they don't scare me, then they're not big enough.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I do know is that it's not the same type of fear. I'm not that little boy. It's not that type of fear. So I'm not paralyzed by fear as I was back then.
Hmm.
So, I think that's the key, distinguishing that you're not that little boy anymore.
That's right. That's right. You don't have to react to fear. I mean, you don't react to fear like that. That's the thing. Like you probably haven't reacted to fear like that in such a long time. It's
Right,
just
right, right.
it's the fear of it sounds like the fear of reverting back to old habits.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So is that also what you found in all the different events throughout your timeline? The same message was when you had that fear of failure that you're going to be okay and that it's not as bad as it seems.
Um, Ask me that question again. Say, I'm sorry. Say,
uh, when you were going throughout your timeline, it seems like the common theme was that it's going to be okay and that it's not as bad as it seems. Is that accurate?
it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's not as bad as it seems. Yeah, you'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
Things will work themselves out.
Mm. So I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's knowing that there's, you know, there's no way but through.
Hmm.
And sometimes it's kind of like dreading going through,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
like I can't avoid this. So I got to go, I got to go through it. And that's the fearful part. But then knowing that, when you make it to the other side, you'll be a changed person. But if you're avoiding the troubled waters, you can forget it.
It's natural for us to not want to experience any type of discomfort.
Oh, yeah. 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 My MO is like, I don't want to be uncomfortable
Right.
mentally, physically, or emotionally.
And that's a part of the journey, though, right? Is to experience that discomfort so we can then go to that next level, to get become uncomfortable being or be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Right. Yeah. Growth and development does not come without, stretching yourself beyond who you know yourself to be. And, I just thought of, um, God, what's her name? Harriet Tubman,
Mm-hmm.
who was just a phenomenal woman. And there's a museum not too far from DC in Maryland where she was born, a Harriet Tubman Museum.
Wow.
And when she would steal these slaves away, and she'd have a gun, and she said, "These are going to be some troubled waters,
Yeah.
and freedom's on the other side. But if you're avoiding these troubled waters, you can forget it. And if you're avoiding these troubled waters, I'm also going to shoot you. So I'm not avoiding the troubled waters.
Yeah. I hope
It
another.
can be scary.
Good thing our coaches don't have the same type of mentality.
Well, it's like I'm going to shoot you, or I'm going to like double my fees.
Right, right. Oh my gosh, I'd rather take the shot. I'm just kidding. Um, did you feel anything viscerally, like physically, when you were releasing anything?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Mm.
How easy was it for you to be able to focus and do the meditation?
Actually, it was easy for me because I practice meditation, right?
Perfect. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah, and I know. I mean, yeah, I know some people. In the beginning, it's challenging because there are so many distracting thoughts. Their nose itches, the ear itches. I'm hungry, got to do laundry. Stuff like that. So I practice enough to be able to kind of go right there and cut
Hmm.
through that and pull myself back when I start getting distracted.
That's a big one. That's a big one. I still struggle with that as well. Making sure that well, I'm getting faster at it, which is great, but pulling myself back. I'll be on an event and I'll be gathering the learnings from the event, and I'll be beside and I'll be
Yeah.
like, dang, did I put that stuff in the micro or in the refrigerator? I'll be like, wait a second, get back, get back, get back.
Right, right, right. Well, it's just practice doing it. It's not that your mind, it's like the monkey mind, is distracted, is that each time you pull yourself back, you don't
Hmm.
allow yourself to entertain the thought, go down that thought trail. You're just like, okay, focus, breath, count one in, two out, you know. So as long as you're bringing yourself back,
Hmm.
that is a meditation.
100%. That mindfulness that you have towards yourself and being present.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like with you saying that beliefs is a big so the beliefs that you think is a thought that you have over and over again that becomes automatic. Now with that fear of failure, like you'll have a different type of consciousness around it as well. And I'd like you to come back onto the show just to see like how things have changed since you've done this guided meditation, just to see how the subconscious mind has shifted just a bit over time.
Yeah, absolutely. I certainly would be willing to do that. I am willing to do that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Heck yeah. Because this is how I work with my clients. I make sure that we get with we eliminate any negative emotions and limiting beliefs that they have first. So we eliminate anger, sadness, fear, hurt and disappointment, guilt, shame, and jealousy. And then we go ahead and attack all the limiting beliefs that we have. So usually it's I'm not good enough and a fear of judgment, but there's a plethora of different fears and limiting beliefs and insecurities that we all have, that once you start to eliminate them and do that inner work, that's when we can start to achieve some goals and get down with the nitty gritty so we can get to where we really want to be and how we want to feel.
Yeah, it's kind of like you're weeding your garden of all those negative thoughts and feelings and beliefs, so that you're tending to the soil, nourishing the soil, so that it's, it's ripe for bearing the fruit of your goals and your dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
100%. And getting all those and being able to see without getting able to see you achieve those big goals without you having that baggage of your beliefs weighing you down. So seeing like, oh, I want to make $1 million. Okay, well, is anything holding you back? Is there any limiting beliefs about money or about success or about you that's holding you back? And if there are, let's go ahead and get rid of that stuff now.
yeah. And then there's the maintenance of it.
Yep.
So what I call auto suggestion, or actually I don't call it that. That's what Napoleon Hill calls it. But that we have to, because if you can get rid of a belief, this is how I see it, that,
Yeah.
but you have to replace it with, replace a negative belief with a positive belief.
Yes.
Because just nature abhors a void, and there are no voids. So that space where that negative belief was held will fill up with other negative beliefs. And, so we have to really impress upon the subconscious mind over and over and over this auto-suggestion, this new belief, so that that new belief becomes automatic.
Yeah.
Doesn't get crowded out by those old beliefs. And that's why it's, I write mine, I'm so happy and grateful now that,
Yes.
and that keeps you future oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Result, like it's done.
Mm-hmm. And also, that's why I have you write down the learnings that you got as well, because that's a truth that you now know. So I have my clients read those truths every single day until it becomes a part of their subconscious as well, till they actually know the truth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything.
And read and writing, because writing causes thinking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm going to add that into my practice now. Thank you, man. Goodness gracious. The coaches, coaching the coaches. Yeah, man, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I love having conversations with other coaches because I learn so much.
Mm-hmm. Same here. I learned, oh my gosh, that's pretty much like the premise of the show as of right now, is for me to talk to other coaches and people making a difference in their lives and the lives of other. So many different techniques that I can then learn and test out myself. So then I can help my clients with so much more.
Yeah. Cool.
Very cool. Thank you so much for coming on to the Drop Your Baggage podcast and and being willing to experience this. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate your inviting me. So thank you very much.
Yes, indeed. Would you please tell anybody and everybody where we can find you if men are out there who want to create change in their lives?
Oh, well, I am revamping my website.
Mm-hmm.
But the easiest way is just to find me on Facebook, Stephen Pleasant, STEPHEN, and Pleasant, PLEASANT. And the name of my Facebook group, my private Facebook group, is Masters of Prosperity, a tribe of unstoppable men.
Mm.
And so it's a fairly new group, so it's small in number. Masters of Prosperity, a tribe of unstoppable men. Check out my Facebook page and friend me. And my webmaster is working on my new website. I have an old one up, but I want to drive people to the Facebook page instead of the website.
Amen. Amen. And it's less people in the group right now. That means that you're more intimate with them, which is awesome. I love it. Love to get that one-on-one with, people that are so well knowledgeable.
Well, that's what the group is about. I talk about what we've been talking about, but not just talking about it, like how to apply it. That's more
Yeah.
important because there's a lot of information out there, but otherwise it just becomes more information that's interesting but not useful.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
might be, good and right, and but if you can't operationalize it, like, well, how do I apply this?
Right.
So, that's what the intention of the group is to how do you apply this information so that you become your own master of your own prosperity. You become, an unstoppable man. And my email is support@stephenpleasant.com.
Wow. Yes, yes. Everybody, please hit Steven up. And once again, thank you so much for being on the podcast. And thank you all for tuning in, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Please consider hitting the like and subscribe button. And if you're out there on any podcast platform, thank you so much for listening in. And please be prepared for plenty more episodes. I got so many people that are going to be on the show. Steven,
Great.
any wise words for the folks out there? Any final wise words?
Hey, can I plug a free 1 hour webinar I'm doing next week
Go for it.
on Thursday, the 29th?
Mm-hmm.
And it's an hour on. I'm choosing three problems and how to solve these three specific problems. One is belief, one is thinking, and how to get moving in the direction of your goals. It's free. It's just check out my Facebook page and you'll see a post about this workshop on the 29th, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern time.
Gotcha. All right, everybody, please check out his workshop, 1 p.m. Eastern time on the 29th. Hit him up on Facebook and please just tap into him as a resource. Obviously, an amazing resource. Like coaching men that want to create change in their lives as a peak performance coach. Hey, you guys, please take care of yourself and take care of one another.
All
Peace.
right, take care, boss. Thank you.